guys, we're back for another video. By the way, this is Linus, my lovely little dachshund. Say hi. He's an anime guy too. We're just gonna say that to be a little dorky. Alright, get away. Anyways, so today we're talking about another anime that's a favorite of ours, which is Yamada's First Time. So before we get into the show, I want to address something that hasn't really needed to be addressed in the other shows so far. So I'm going to bring it to attention right now, and that's that anime sometimes have mature content in them, and the effect that they'll show like a woman's upper half of their body. You know, there's titty shots basically. Let's be upfront about this, and I feel like a lot of reviewers kind of ignore this. At least none that I've ever seen really talk about it. I'm sure there is some out there, but for us, we want to talk about it just because if you really look at it, America is really kind of closed up on topics like that. I mean, it's considered scandalous if something like that happens in a movie or a TV show or whatever the case may be. And in Japan, it's really not. Like, it's not something that people really are awkward about. I mean, there's bathing houses, public bathing houses in Japan where people can literally go and
they're not ashamed and embarrassed of each other's bodies. They're pretty much like, hey, that's a human body, whatever, I have one too. That's kind of how it is.
It's pretty straightforward in that respect. I mean, even Europe is like that. I mean, so the reason I'm bringing that up is because there's a couple animes we're going to be talking about that definitely have that. One of my all-time favorites is Sekirei. Really big in that one, both metaphorically and literally, kind of. And then also, this show has it for like one or two scenes that is really quick. It's not something that's lingered. And if you want to let him out real quick.
Alright.
My dog's trying to get out of the room. Anyways, so basically what we really want to get at is just, don't get awkward about this. Don't get weird. I mean, there's no reason to be. And if it's something that you're not comfortable with, we will tell you guys if it's in the show or not, so you guys know going into it if it's the kind of show that you want to watch or not. So, in our last review of Rosario the Vampire, we didn't really talk about that. I think there is literally one scene where you do see that, but it's also really quick.
Yeah, so, I didn't even remember, honestly, until you just brought it up, because I think it was when they went to his house or something.
No, it was the Lilith Mirror, because they made all of them, like, their true nature kind of thing.
Oh, that's right.
It, like I said, and it was literally like a second. So, it's a little bit longer in this one, which is why I thought maybe we should address it now. So like we said, we will tell you guys, yes, it is in this show, no, it is not in this show. I figured that's something you guys might want to know, just ahead of time. So, let's get into the show itself. So, I'm going to talk about the plot. The plot of the show, really discredited on Netflix. I know I bag on Netflix a lot, but it's because when they gave a description for the show, they made it sound almost like a hentai. For you guys who know what that is, you know what I'm talking about. But the show is it's really clean, and it's really cute, it's really funny. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. It's not the funniest anime I have ever seen, like, bar none.
Funnier than Rosario, definitely.
It is definitely funnier than Rosario, by a long shot. We talked about it briefly in our 5 most underrated animes. So this is the episode where we get to talk more in depth about it, and we're pretty excited about that. Because like I said, we love the show. So first thing I'm going to mention, Yamada is a teenage girl who is just kind of blossoming into adolescence, going into her adult years, by going into high school. And apparently, it's never really explained why, but her life's goal and dream of high school is to basically bang 100 guys. And she's really crass, she's really dirty, but she's also in this kind of weird place where she's never done anything before. She's never kissed anyone, she's never really even held hands with anyone. I mean, she's not been in a relationship before.
And but bear in mind, this is like one of the most popular girls out of school, so like, just think about that.
She's kind of like that pretty girl that everyone likes, but no one has the guts to ask out, kind of thing. But she also panics around guys, which is really funny. And I don't think she realizes that's what she's doing. Until she meets the second main character of the show, whose name is Costa. And basically what it is, he's so ordinary. I mean, he is flatline ordinary. And she discovers that he is a safe bet. And by that, she means that he's not good looking enough to get stolen away, and he's not good looking enough to deny her. So she figures that this is her best chance at kind of learning her way through. So that having been said, I'll talk about the characters a little bit more. So first character I'm going to talk about is Yamada herself. Yamada is the only name that's given. It's actually her last name. We never know what her first name is at any point. The show kind of makes a point of not saying what her name is. We don't really know why. She just doesn't want to be known by it. Anyways, like I said, the show starts when she's 14. It progresses through to her second year of high school, so she's 15 at the time. She seems kind of rude, almost. She has this very, like, blunt quality about her.
She's very forward.
Yeah, I mean, she basically is, she's just going to take what she wants because she wants it. But the thing is she doesn't know how, and that's where really a lot of the comedy comes into this, is, because she's never dated anyone, because she's never been with a guy or anything like that, she doesn't know what to do. And that's really where the humor of the show is really at its peak, is that when you're learning things in a relationship with someone, you kind of got to take it step by step. And she doesn't want to take it step by step.
She pretty much wants to, like, go straight into a relationship with this guy. And it's kind of like, no, she's got to realize, no, she's got to take it slow with him. Or like any guy.
And the thing is like, most guys, she thinks most guys would jump at the chance to sleep with her. But Kosada stands by himself as a really cool character, that he is, like, a good man. So he doesn't have this, like, pounce on first thing with a skirt thing. Which is really where all the humor comes, is just their relationship growing and the natural steps it takes, and the awkwardness that comes with being in a relationship for, the beginning of it. For those of you who are in a relationship or, remember your first time with a lot of things, like a first kiss, that sort of thing. The show you can definitely relate with. You're like, I didn't know what I was doing, and that's exactly how it felt. So, just think about that. And Yamada's character played a wonderful girl. Yes, she seems almost like a nymphomaniac, but it's okay because she doesn't really know what she wants. She doesn't really know what she's getting in for. She just thinks she does. That's all I'm going to say about that at that point. So I'm going to hand it over to him to talk about Kosada, because he's one of my favorite anime guys of all time. So, go for it.
Kosada is like in the words of Yamada, a plain Jane. He's kind of guy with a forgettable face. He's a normal guy. He's just like me, pretty much like a lot of other guys. Just like you're not a horrible looking guy, but you're not like Prince Charming. You're just an average looking guy. There's something special about you. Maybe you're in a club, and that's what Yamada sees, and sees that, maybe this guy's totally a virgin, and I totally want to have my first time with a guy who doesn't know what he's doing, because I don't want to be judged, and so I feel that they both could experience it at the same time, and that's what she really wants from him. And he's just like this guy just thinking, wow, this is a really, really pretty girl. Why is she hitting on me? Like, I'm nothing special. And eventually gets to some, like, awkward situations where she's like, and then she gets in a library with him alone, and she's like, she pulls up her shirt and is like, hey, can you rub my belly? And then he's like, he in his mind, he's thinking, is this an invitation to grab her boobs? Like, no, I can't do that. She doesn't really want me to do that because there's a chance to no. And then in her mind, she's like, I want him to grab my boobs, but he's not sure whether or not to do it. So he's like rubbing her belly, and then she's like, can you go higher? And he goes a little higher, and then it's like, and eventually he goes like way up here on top of his head, and she's like too high. And eventually it gets to the point where he gets too pressured into the situation, freaks out, and he believes it. But he's just like, this is too forward for me. And that's what's so like funny, is like how inexperienced these two are, and that's kind of like how 15-year-olds would be in a situation like that. They're inexperienced. They don't know what they're doing.
For you guys out there, do you guys remember the first time, someone was in that kind of a position with you? Whether you were a guy or a girl, it's awkward for the both of you. You kind of have to acknowledge that. Even when you're older, in your 20s, and, you're going through in the beginning of relationships, it's always awkward, and that's what this show really captures, is that awkwardness, and it portrays it in such a way, it's hilarious. One other thing about Costa that you forgot to mention was his photography.
Oh yeah,
And the thing about his photography that's really funny is they make a lot of puns with it, a lot of metaphors. Anyways, so that's something that, as far as it's a really endearing quality, because some of the stuff he does is really sweet, and like the only thing about him that's really special is his ability to take photos. And like there's a point where like even Yamada notices, it's like she went with him while he was taking photos, and she even stands there and look at this picture where it was just scenery, and she goes, I don't remember it being this peaceful. I don't remember it being this calm and beautiful, even though I was standing right beside this person. So whatever skill it is he has when it comes to taking photos, it's one of his most endearing qualities. There's other side characters in the show that we were kind of debating about whether or not to talk about, but they all kind of have their own special role, and we feel like if we talk about it, we give away some of the story.
Like, there's Yamada's best friend, there's maybe the one girl that likes Kosuda, and then there's the rival to Yamada, but we're not going to go into the characters, though, because we feel that it's better to enjoy them for yourself, and we just don't want to give anything away that could ruin the plot, I think, any more than we already have.
So this is a video where we're not always going to do this. We didn't for Rosario and there's a couple other shows we're not going to do this for, but because we don't want to give spoilers, but we kind of want to talk about spoilers, this is one where we're basically going to do another video where we talk about the ending of the show, and we also are going to talk about kind of how we felt about the ending and where it goes, maybe with a little bit, because I've discovered that I've recently been researching the manga stories afterwards, because I've noticed that, like, not knowing where the story goes afterwards, even if the show technically ends, the manga sometimes for the shows continue, so I kind of want to see where it goes. So this is one of those videos that we will actually do that. So you guys have to let us know in the comments if you guys want us to do that or not, or, you know, we can do one and you guys can watch it if you want to. But we really, really recommend that you watch the show and not just the video that we're going to do. We think it's really, like, you want to watch that after you watch the show, and it's not super long. I think it's 13 episodes. You can finish it in a day. Like, if you're not feeling good and you're sick and you want a good laugh, great show to watch.
You finish in 5 hours, definitely.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Almost just like a long movie, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. People ask, like, how do you watch anime for 6 hours? Well, how do you do a Lord of the Rings marathon? Same difference. We decided on our scale that the things we're going to judge an anime on are its character development, its consistency to its story, and its resolution of the story. And that's where we are going to start talking about that now. Go ahead.
Character development, I give it a 9 because the characters they're different how they were from the beginning. Not for a bad thing, but for good. That they still have pretty much a lot of the same motives, but just it's a condensed version of it. Say they just develop and they become more like mature, I would say. Like that, the characters do find their peace. A majority of them do. And I really like that a lot of them developed and were able to find that. And I give that a 9 because it just was really, really well done.
I have to agree with you as far as rating it as a 9. I'm definitely going to agree, and I'm going to rate it as a 9 as well. I feel that I agree with you in saying that the characters themselves, they mature throughout the show. And to be honest, it's kind of like being on the sidelines, like watching two friends in a relationship, where it's like, you know, you don't see the private moments, but the public moments that they show too, where it's kind of like, even the friends in the show comment, they're like, God, why can't you just be honest with each other? And it's really, really cute. It's really endearing. Yamada herself, like, she comes to terms with the fact that maybe she's not, you know, totally understanding what she's getting herself into. And it's really sweet how both of them realize that, you know, they are something special to one another in their own time and in their own way. So the next thing we want to talk about is the consistency of the story. Now, when I say consistency to a story, I know I talked about this last time, but I think maybe I should fine-tune it just a little bit more, and that's that when a show has a storyline, it follows the storyline. If it jumps all over the place, or there's a bunch of random, like, crappy filler episodes, that kind of stuff bugs me, and I feel like that needs to go away.
I mean, there can be filler episodes, but, like, not to the point where there's, like, maybe 3 or 4 of them in a row. It's like, if it's just one once in a while, that's fine, because, like, that's where you kind of have to maybe develop the characters a bit more. But this one really didn't have that, which was really kind of was really, really nice. Like, you felt every episode helped the plot, and which was really nice.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that with this one. The consistency of the story, I'm definitely going to give it a 9 as well. Which seems like I'm maybe rating this one really high just because it's, you know, one of my favorites personally. But really, if you look at it technically, the time jumps, but it jumps naturally. It's not quite the same as Rosario Vampire. It definitely, like, it progresses and it shows its progression, and I like that because it's, you know, and the relationship that these two have, you see it as it's growing and the time it takes for it to really kind of grow. It's not something that happens really, really, really quick. I mean, it takes a long time. At least as far as technical time. Not necessarily within an episode of the show. So I definitely feel like, as far as consistency goes, this is definitely one of the most consistent animes I've ever seen. So if you guys want a story that's like, this is where it's going, definitely a good one.
I definitely would. I agree that I'm gonna rate this one pretty high, but I wanted to compare it to Rosaria Vampire. Is that I think that also it's just because Rosaria Vampire was almost twice as long.
That's true. It
As
was
Yamada,
a lot longer.
and it's not because I think that this one should have been longer. I think it was perfect. I think the way it was, that it was good 13 episodes, but it was just like you felt like, okay, some time has passed now during it, and they make it very obvious how much time has passed, and not towards like, oh, what you they think it is, or trying to like maybe give you a clue where you have to really think about it. I kind of like, no, like, don't just kind of tell me. I don't need to be like really think about it like Inception or anything like that. Just kind of just tell me, you know. And so consistency, I give it a 9 as well, because it was really really consistent.
It was a really clear show. You can make a good point though. It was considerably shorter than Rosario Vampire, so maybe you're right. I shouldn't have compared it to that, but that's just kind of what I think of when I think of animes that jump around. So, last thing we're going to talk about is the resolution of the show. This show ends in such a way where there's more room for the story, but you can you can fill it in yourself, which may sound kind of like a cop out as far as the show goes. But this one definitely it has a much clearer ending than a lot of shows. There was never intended to be a second season. They didn't leave it with a to be continued. They left it with you know what? We're gonna see where this goes, like within the characters of the show itself. And I really felt that was a really big breath of fresh air as far as a lot of animes go, because it always seems like whatever anime I really love and I really want to get into has this horrible, horrible ending, where it's just like cut off and it's like no more, and this one was just like, and now it's done. Here it is on a silver platter, and it was wonderful. So I'm actually going to give this one an 8 on that, just because I want there to be more, and there isn't, but I'm happy with where it is. So I have no complaints, just a little bit of a desire for more. Also, this one does continue in the manga. I looked at the information in our second video for this one. I'll tell you guys what I found happened. I think you guys will like it. So watch the show first before you see that, or else it'll bug the crap out of you. So
I give it an 8.5 for the resolution towards the end, because I felt very happy with the characters. They all found happiness. Pretty much all the characters found happiness towards the end, and it was like you were saying, like, you wish there was a second one, just because you're like, I want to see where it goes. But it's like, but you understand why it had to end, and it's like, you know what, it's okay, because it's all the laughs you had during it. You makes up for it, and that's what really really makes it such a great anime. Honestly, one of the best comedies I've seen. Honestly, for like TV, like, in general. Honestly, like this one.
I've seen stand-ups that I did not laugh as much at as maybe a single episode of this. I mean, one of our favorite lines of the show is just Yamada coming up a window just going, Kosuda. It's amazing and it's awesome. You guys have to watch it. It's phenomenal. So as an overview, as an overall just kind of opinion of the show, it's not a harem style. It's definitely more of a relationship style show. And it has just this wonderful, quirky, very human quality to it, which some animes lack because of all the supernatural stuff that happens in them. This one is very grounded, I think, is a good way of putting it. Next episode that we do is going to be kind of a fun facts, our opinions about the end, and I'll tell you what happens in the manga. So, once again, comment, like, subscribe, just let us know what you guys think. We want to hear from you. So, yeah, I think this one's done. Yeah.
Well, what did you give as your overall score?
Overall score, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 just because I couldn't stop laughing. The character development was wonderful. The consistency of the story really kept me intrigued and really pulled me in. As just an overall understanding of the characters and the story and everything, I really felt like there was no plot holes. There was no questions that I was left asking. I was just kind of like, this is where it is. And I was happy with that. So I have to give it a really high score. Which
I give it a 9 as well. Pretty much, you hit it right on the head with the hammer on that one. It's such a great anime. Like, it's hard to say anything bad about it, other than it's just like, oh, it's about a girl who wants sex. Like, no, that's literally, it's like what you said, the Netflix thing.
Yeah, Netflix just, and you know, I'm gonna bag on Netflix a lot when it comes to anime, just because of the description. I'm really frustrated with that because I didn't want to watch the show originally. I watched it first out of the two of us, and I literally watched it. I sat down with my girlfriend and I was kind of sitting there and I'm like, you know what, we need to watch this show because I need to know if it's what it's saying it is. I can't just sit here and be like, I've never heard of an anime that's just like this. So that's where I really wanted to watch it. And I watched the first episode. I really went in with my teeth gritted. I was like, oh, this is going to suck. And I was laughing so hard, even with my girlfriend right next to me, which can be awkward in certain shows, but definitely not this one. This one was just hilarious.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So, go watch the video, then come back and, or sorry, not watch the video. Go watch the show, then come back and watch the second half of this video. And if you've already seen it, God bless you. Tune in. Give us your opinion about how it should end. Not on this video, but definitely the next one. So yeah, stay tuned.